In this video, we'll be going over 10 basic Excel concepts that every Excel user should know. This will be a two-part video where I cover 5 topics in each video. Although most of these tips are well known, I promise you that there will be at least one that is new to you and you could use to improve your Excel game. So without further ado, let's begin. Our first concept is essential Excel functions. We have a data set of 6 people, each person's age, salary, and the car that they're driving. If we want to find the total salary of all of these people, we select an empty cell, we write down an equal sign, each function begins with an equal sign, then we name our function. We write down sum, and as we can see, Excel shows all of the available functions with the similar name. It also shows what the function does. In our case, sum adds all the numbers in a range of cells, which is exactly what we need. After naming our function, we open up the brackets, select the whole range, we close our brackets, click enter. We have a sum. Average age, we do the same thing. We write down the equal sign, we write down the name of the function, which is average, open up the brackets, select all of the age cells, close the brackets, click enter, we have an average age. Count of people might be confusing because if we write down count and select all of the name values, close the brackets, we have a 0. To understand why that happened, we have to read what the function actually does. Count counts the number of cells in a range that contain numbers. Since our names aren't numbers, they're text values, we would either have to use a different function, which is count A, which counts the number of cells in a range that are not empty, or we could use the count function on the age column, since each name has a corresponding age value. Close the brackets, we have 6 unique people. Maximum salary, I think you get the idea, we write down equals max. Select the range, close the brackets, the minimum salary equals minimum, select the range, close the brackets. Unique car brands, write down equal unique, open up the brackets, select all of our cars, close the brackets. We have 5 unique cars for our 6 fields since there's 2 duplicate BMWs. Now that you know how the functions work, it's only a matter of Googling the appropriate function for your needs. Let's move on to our second step. Our second step is sorting and filtering. We'll be using the same data set, and let me just zoom in a little bit. And let's say we want to only display the BMW and Ford car users. To do that, we click anywhere on our data set, we go to the Data tab, and then we click Filter. As you can see, we have these arrows for each of our appropriate columns. We click on the car arrow, and then we select only the BMW and Ford values. As you can see, our dataset only represents these values. If we want to go back, we click on the arrow again and click Select All. Now if we want to sort, the quickest way to do it is just to click on one of these values that we want to sort on, right click on them, click Sort, and sort largest to smallest. Now all of our values are sorted. However, let's say that there's only 2 age ranges. There are 30 years of age and 25. And then we want to sort by the secondary column, which is salary. And now it's all mixed up. Now to do that, we have to click on Sort in the Data tab. And we have to add an additional level. So first we sort by age, largest to smallest. Then we sort by salary, largest to smallest, or we can go smallest to largest. Let's do that. As you can see, first we have the 30 years old, and their salary smallest to largest. Then we have the 25-year-olds, smallest to largest. That concludes our second part. The third tip is conditional formatting. Now, if you don't know what conditional formatting is, it's a way of displaying any outliers, any tendencies, or any rules that you want in your dataset. Let me show you what I mean. We go to the Home tab, we select the data range that we want to format, we click Conditional Formatting. As you can see, Excel shows us all the different types of formatting rules. And for now, let's say we only want to display the salaries that are below 2000. Or to be clear, not to display them, but to highlight them. We click less than, we write down 2000, and then we select the color that we want to apply. We can use a custom format, but for now, let's use the yellow fill with dark yellow text. As we can see, any salary that is below 2000 is now highlighted in yellow. There's one more very popular conditional formatting rule, which is called the color scales. It simply sorts your values in an appropriate color scale. If we select this one, it represents the data in a white/green scale, meaning that the higher the value, the darker the green color. As you can see, the lowest color here is 800, it's highlighted in white. The highest one is 3500, it's in dark green. We can also make it a custom color scale. We simply select a color for the lowest value, let's say the light yellow, and the highest value, dark brown. And now it's appropriately formatted. There's more conditional formatting rules, but I think that these are the most popular ones. I guess we can also mention the data bars. As you can see, it fills out the whole cell in the proportional value of its actual, value. The higher it is, the higher the percentage fill it has. For example, Luna with 800 salary only has like a 20% fill, whereas Isabel has a whole cell filled out in the appropriate bar. Hope that makes sense. But that's it for the conditional formatting part. For our next tip, we're going to be working with charts and their templates. I'm sure most of you know how to create basic Excel charts. So we just select the data that we want, we click Insert, and then we select, for example, the 2D line chart. Now let's say we want to make a custom style for our chart. We delete the grid lines, we increase the size of the name, we change the font type, and let's say, for example, we want to fill the whole thing in light green. Now, if we wanted to make additional line charts for other columns, we understand that it will take a lot of time if we did it all manually. So there's a workaround for that. We just simply right click on our chart, we click Save as Template, we save it as green 1, we can name it whatever we want. And then we insert our new chart, for example, a line chart for our salary range. Insert, right click, change chart type. We go to the templates folder and we select our green one style. And just like that, we have an identically styled salary chart. We can use this for as many charts as we want. We can even use this for another style of charts. But this pretty much covers the whole idea. Hope this makes sense. Our fifth step is data validation. Now, data validation is something that's very important when working in a multi-person environment. If you want to send your sheet to a friend or a colleague and you want them to fill in some information, this is something that you must use to ensure that the data that they're providing is correct. Let me show you what I mean. We go to data, we go to the cell that we want to validate our data in, and we click data validation. We go to settings, and now we select the type of value we want to allow in our cell. Since we want the person to state their year of birth, we click whole number, and we can select between. So let's assume that we know that our person is not older than 1950 and he is not younger than 2010. Anything that is below or higher these values will be an error. Input message. We just write down what we want the person to specify. Please specify your birthday year. Error alert. Now there's three types of error alerts. It all depends on the level of strictness. The stop one is the most strict. If the user inputs something wrong, he is not allowed to keep that value. Let me show you what I mean. We just write down the error message, wrong value. Now when I click on the cell, it displays, please specify your birth year. If I write down a correct value, nothing happens. However, if I write down a value that is below our specified value, we get an error message, wrong value. Note that there is no option to keep the value. We can either cancel or retry. Now, if we wanted to keep the option for our user to actually have that wrong input, or maybe we were mistaken in our initial range of 1950 and 2010, we can keep it as a warning. Now, if we write down 1949, we have an option to continue. We click yes, and the value remains. The last one is very similar to the warning, which is information, which isn't as scary for the user. If he writes down 1949, he simply gets an information bar that something is wrong with your value. But the actual usability of the last two ones, which is the warning and information, is pretty much the same. This covers data validation. Thank you for watching the first part of this video. I hope you learned something new, and if not, I promise you there will be something new for you in the second part. These are the topics that will be covered in the second part, and if you're interested, please check that out. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you liked it, and drop a comment below on what you want me to improve for the next videos. Thanks for watching, and see you on the next one.